Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this morning. Thank you so much for coming. I want to thank New Hampshire Federal Credit Union for joining us today and giving this great presentation. They actually offer a lot of other free classes, and they'll tell you a little bit about that later. So, stay tuned for that information if you learn a lot from this session and you want to hear more. So today, during this webinar, you can actually submit questions to our presenters. So I'm going to let you know how to do that. If you move your mouse or just tap your screen, if you're on a mobile device, you're going to want to click the button that says Q&A. From there, you can simply type your question and submit it. I believe there's an option there for you to click anonymous or to leave your name. You can choose what you want to do there, but regardless of how you submit those questions, they'll only be seen by the presenters and myself. No one else attending today will see those. So feel free to ask. I know this is a topic you may have a lot of questions about, but you'll want that privacy. So you can use the Q&A for that. So again, move your mouse, tap your screen. You're going to click Q&A, and then from there, type your question in. So now I'd love to welcome and thank Megan and Kimberly for joining us today, and turn the mic over to them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily, and to the Concord Chamber for allowing us this opportunity today. Kim and I are really excited, and as you can see from Kimmy's face, she just did the excited shuffle. There you go. And we are really excited to bring this class to you today, and we're going to be talking about, obviously, this topic here today, getting your finances back on track post-COVID-19, post-quarantine. And like Emily had mentioned, we are absolutely available for questions. Kim and I want to make sure that you leave today with what you came for. So we definitely use that Q&A, and we will get those questions answered for you live during the broadcast. Of course, using privacy for you and not using your name, nothing like that. But honestly, here's one of the reasons that we really like to answer questions live and in person, because we found during doing these webinars that if one person has this question, really like 6 people have it, but you're the only brave one enough to answer it on your own or ask it. So we'd love to be able to get that information out to all of you. So good morning again. So my name is Megan Noon, and I am a financial wellness coach at New Hampshire Federal Credit Union, and I'm here today with my coworker, the one and only Kimberly Kim Millette. And thank you, Kim. Thank you. Nice bow. Yep, thank you. And so Kim and I are here today, and we are 2 of the 3 full-time financial wellness coaches that work here at New Hampshire Federal Credit Union. And I wanted to thank again, not only Emily in the Concord Chamber, but also my coworkers at New Hampshire Federal Credit Union that have done a lot of work behind the scenes with this presentation, and of course, supporting Kim and myself. So thank you very much to everyone. Before we get going on the presentation, I just wanted to just mention how some things are going to go today, because Kim and I are all about fun and interactive and making this enjoyable. We know that there's a lot of learning going on, a lot of webinars, a lot of Zoom meetings, and we want to make this a different experience for you. So at the end of this presentation that I'm going to do here today, we do have a raffle that we are going to be doing. And today, a little bit, we're going to be talking about the one and only Dave Ramsey, the financial guru. And what we have to raffle off today is a copy of his book, Total Money Makeover, as well as the workbook that goes along with it. And we teach, as Emily mentioned, and I'm going to talk about more in a minute, we teach a multitude of financial wellness classes. They are all free. They're all for you to help you make better financial decisions now and in the future. And if you see right in front of me on my screen here, this is our motto in the green box. We exist to make a positive difference in the lives of those we serve through financial education and services. And we really mean it. This is our motto. This is our tagline. This is what is in all of our heads as we have every conversation, every email, every phone call that we do with our members, with our customers. And just to kind of prove that point, I wanted to just very quickly talk about a story that happened just yesterday. One of my clients had reached out to me and said, Megan, you know, I'm really in the market for a new car. Could you do a pre-approval for us? So I said, yeah, absolutely. Let me get one of the lenders to reach out to you. And we have some amazing lenders that work with us, and this, in particular, this wonderful woman named Summer. And Summer didn't just go, Summer went above and beyond on this one. And Summer's boss, if you're out there, you're getting an email later today about how awesome she was. But where I'm going with this, with our tagline, is we didn't end up doing a car loan for this woman. What Summer ended up talking to this woman about was, you know, do you really want to take on this payment? And what does your budget look like? And by asking those questions, uncovered, you know, maybe we need some budgeting work. Maybe we need to look at some of these other things before we start taking on a car. And that's really what we do over at New Hampshire Federal Credit Union, what Kim and I absolutely do in the Center for Finance and Education. And you'll see on the right-hand side of my screen here, this is now my office, but this is the room, the entrance to the room that we typically hold our classes in the Lee office location. And this is us. So I am the beaming individual on the left. On the right, Kimberly is smiling broadly, and Debbie is on vacation this week, so I know she looks just like that because she's on vacation. But these are our financial wellness coaches, and we will help you with, you tell us what you want some help with. Many times people will come to us and say, Megan, Kim, you know, I make enough money, but like, I don't know where it goes every month. Like, I never seem to have any. I'm always behind on my bills, or I'm in my overdraft line of credit, and I don't know how I keep winding up there. Or we work with a lot of folks as well that are maybe a year or two out from wanting to buy a home. And they might say, you know, Megan, I don't know, like, what do we need to focus on? And I'll talk to them about the importance of credit, the importance of having a down payment, all the different expenses along with home ownership to make sure they're ready in that year or two. Another person that, or quality type that we get a lot is folks that are maybe recently divorced or recently widowed and are now on their own for the first time as adults. And they're like, you know, like, this is very different now. I used to do this as a couple. My significant other maybe pays the bills, or I don't really even know how this all works. And the one thing I really want to stress with the Center for Finance and Education, with Deb and Kim and myself, we've all been there. We've all done that. When I say we're a judgment-free zone, we're not Planet Fitness, but we really are a judgment-free zone. We have had people come in tears. We've had people holding a bag of their unopened bills because they just can't do it, and we make it work, and we figure it out, and we give people hope. So I'm going to be getting into the presentation shortly, but I wanted to just, again, we're going to do some polls throughout this, and one of the polls I'm going to ask towards the end is, do you want one of us financial wellness coaches to reach out to you via email and just say hi and open that line of communication, see what we can do to help. We do all of our coaching that we do will help you with, again, credit building, or with saving money, or a budget plan, or a goal towards home ownership, or to move out on your own for the first time. And many times when we start looking at one goal, we realize there's a few other things we like to look at. And, you know, again, I mentioned our amazing lending team earlier, and what they'll do for free for all of our clients is they'll say, hey, Megan, oh, you got a new person starting? Great. Do me a favor, send me some of their statements, send me some information about them. We're going to automatically look and see how we can help save them money. And we do this all the time, and we help people all the time save money, increase their credit scores. Just very recently, we were working with one of my best friends, actually, and someone that is a single mother and was not getting any child support. And unfortunately, at one time when her kids were small, her daycare bills were about $2,000 a month. She still had to pay for housing, a car, clothes for the kids, food on the table, diapers, all of that stuff. And she flat out said to me, she goes, Megan, I have collection accounts. She goes, I couldn't do anything at that time. That was pretty much all my money. She's in a much better place now, money-wise. She makes more money now, and her kids are older, and they don't need full-time daycare anymore. They're teenagers now. But she still had all those collection accounts. and she wants to buy a home. She wants to move forward in her life. And she says to me, she goes, Megan, my credit score is 530. No one will even talk to me. I said, we will at the credit union. We don't use your credit score to give you a rate. We don't use your credit score to determine whether we should give you a loan or not. We believe in you. We want to know you. We want to know your story, because my friend, her story isn't unique. I mean, it's amazing to her, but there's so many people out there that through hard times, through no fault of their own, have run into situations where their credit might not be the best. They're behind on rent. They're behind on bills. We get it. There's things like divorce, job loss, deaths, COVID-19 as an example. We're going to talk about that here today. So again, we are a judgment-free zone. Please reach out to us if you or anyone in your world wants us, needs us, wants to talk to someone. We have really sympathetic ears, I promise. You know, look at Kim. She is like the most sympathetic face on the planet. Look at her. Exactly, you know. So the other amazing thing that we do is webinars just like this. And we have used our time wisely with COVID in the sense that we used to do in-person classes. We've switched all of our in-person classes to webinar form. And Kim and I have been real busy. We've created, what, Kimmy, like maybe 10 new classes during all of this? We have some wonderful Dave Ramsey themed classes that Kim has brought on board that are wonderful. And we have some other ones that we've developed, including this COVID-19 money conversations for couples. We're going to be doing some, oh my goodness, I just put all my Christmas on the credit card. How do I not do this next year? That's going to be something we're working on developing. Also developing a plan for single parents that only have one income, and this was inspired by our clients. So again, if you need us, please let us know. We're here. And check out our website, www.nhfcu.org. And if you go up top to the Center for Finance and Education tab, you will get to a calendar, and you'll see all of the amazing webinars that we have going on. I teach some of them, Kim does, our colleague Debbie does, our president and CEO, John R. Young, and my boss, Vice President of Business Development, Marketing, and everything else in the world, Polly Salvarsh, they absolutely teach these webinars as well. Yesterday, John did a wonderful one on how to read your 401k statements, because seriously, who really knows what all that means? Well, John does, and so did the 11 people that were on his webinar yesterday. They know now. They have all that information. All of our webinars are free, folks, and they are recorded. So if you cannot meet us for the live show, that's totally fine. Go ahead and register anyways, and then you're going to be able to watch it that night, 2 weeks later, a month later. And if you ever see a webinar that's out there and you're like, oh, I missed this one, I wish I could have seen it, please reach out to us. We'll get you the link. We'll make sure we get you the information. So without further ado, I am going to start on this webinar here today. And here are some items we're going to be talking about and things I want you to be thinking about while we're doing this presentation here today to help you. So firstly, we're going to talk about what resources are available. We know a lot of people right now need some help, and many of these folks probably never needed this kind of help before. We get it. We're seeing it. So we want to share with you what resources we have. We want to encourage you to assess your situation. What does your financial picture look like right now? What do your debts look like? Do you need to reassess some things? Maybe because of COVID, or maybe things changed during the pandemic when we were all stuck at home, but now things are opening back up and you might be back at work and your kids might be back at school. So maybe you need to reassess what was going on 2 months ago. Refinancing and debt consolidation options. We are going to touch on those because I have found, I'm a lifelong banker. I've been in banking 23 years. I hesitate to say that because it shows how old I actually am. But I did dye my hair, so no more gray, so at least I'm better. But, you know, I have found in my career, I'm laughing at Kim laughing at me. So I have found in my career that the average person absolutely knows you can refinance your house. Balance transfers, people are like, oh yeah, I get those checks in the mail, but you don't know a lot about them. And what a lot of people don't realize is all the other things you could consolidate or refinance. And I have had staff that have, employees of mine that, when I mention some of these things to them, have been like, I never even thought of that. So if my employees don't think of that, well, certainly the average person's not going to. So I want to talk about that here today. The importance of saving is huge, and it's going to be our theme throughout. And we're certainly going to touch on 401k and retirement and things of that nature towards the end here today. So I wanted to share some helpful links for you. And if anyone wants some more information on any of these or wants us to send them these links via email, we're happy to do that. Go ahead and just go into the questions field there and just simply type in, you know, yes, please send things to me, and you know, that then we'll get them to your email address. I'll get that from Emily. But here are some links that we found, some supplemental food programs for seniors, some wonderful articles and resources on protecting yourself financially from the impact of COVID-19, and some information on local food pantries as well. And I wanted to emphasize, especially when it comes to the food pantries, you know, a conversation that I had with a woman that runs a local one a couple of years ago, and it was eye-opening for me. So I always share this story because I figure if it's eye-opening for me, it's got to be eye-opening for other people. And she let me know that the majority of folks that come to food pantries are not homeless. They are not down to their last penny. They are simply paycheck to paycheck, and they just don't have the money to put food on the table this week or this month or this pay period. And she wanted to make sure that I understood, and she emphasized it several times. Again, no judgment coming from them. They're going to ask probably a few simple questions of you when you go in there. How many people are in your family? And are there any allergies? All they want to know is, are we giving you enough food and things that you are able to eat that aren't going to make you and your family sick? Other than that, they don't care. They don't care, but it's not a qualification of them to know your situation, or you don't have to be in a certain place. So I wanted to make sure I always try to talk about that when I talk about food pantries. And then my amazing friend Cindy over at Dover Housing Authority let me know about this. For folks that are behind on rent or their mortgage due to COVID, there could be some things that can help you here. And you can go online, www.capnh.org, or simply call 211 from any New Hampshire phone and just mention, you know, hey, I'm behind on my rent or my mortgage due to COVID, I need some help. And they will be able to hopefully assist you or let you know more about the program. There's no income restrictions from what I've understood, and it's open to every New Hampshire resident, and it was available starting June 30th of this year. I saw this graphic on Facebook, and well, if it's online, it's gotta be true, right? But this is so true. Lessons from COVID-19, life is short. Jobs are temporary, and you know, my colleagues are so sick of hearing this, but God bless the COVID virus. It has done things that no other anything in history, Kim's laughing again because she knows the story. It has done things, folks, that nothing else in history has done. If I go back to my 5th grade history lesson of my teacher, Mr. Heights, still remember him, and he told us that during the Great Depression, hairdressers and such, they still actually made money. They still had decent careers because even in the heights of doom for many folks, people still wanted to look nice. They still wanted to be pretty. They still wanted that pick-me-up. During the Prohibition times, alcohol was illegal in this country. The bars were packed. You weren't allowed to be open, but the bars were packed. Leave it to COVID. Oh my goodness. People whose occupations you never thought would be in jeopardy suddenly were. Health is wealth. Amen, right? And again, always save money. That's going to be my thought throughout. So Dave Ramsey, and again, we are going to be raffling off his book, Total Money Makeover, as well as the workbook that goes along with it. And we're going to be doing this at the end of the presentation, and Kim has a really fun little visual she's going to show us because she's got everyone's names that are on this webinar in here, and she's going to do a little app that remote spins the wheel, and she's going to hold it up to her camera so you can all see it live, and I know we're pumped about that. Okay, fine, I'm pumped about that. Kim and I really we're really excited. You know, we were really excited to do this class today, and the spinning wheel app was just sort of the icing on the cake, so to speak. But again, some advice from the man himself, and if you don't know who Dave is, Google him. You can go on YouTube and watch any of his videos. And Dave is another one. He's been there, done that. This is a man that filed bankruptcy not once, twice, and has lived to tell the tale and now spends his time educating others. But the advice from Dave Ramsey during these COVID times is get on a budget. If you're not on one already, get on one. And if you need some help with that, hey, Kim and I are here, you know. Take care of those four walls. Take care of the things that are most important to you. Food, utilities, shelter, transportation. If you have to let everything else go or fall off a little bit, be a little bit late on things, that's going to have to be what it is. Those are your four walls. If you are in a position where you've been working on maybe something called a debt snowball or other ways to reduce your debt, and this is awesome stuff. Again, we're all big fans of that here at the Center for Finance and Education, but maybe you need to pause that for now, again, to just make sure you're taking care of those four walls. Sell stuff. Okay, I'm sure you're all like me out there. We have tons of things in our house that when we find them, we're like, oh my God, did you remember I even wore that? No, get rid of it, guys. We have so many things cluttering up our closets, cluttering up our shelves, cluttering up our drawers, cluttering up our lives, quite honestly. I'm a person that clutter stresses me out. I'm in the middle of a major decluttering project at my house right now. I'm trying to tackle one room a month. And as much as I hate clutter, the fact that I have to tackle one room a month shows maybe I don't hate it as much as I thought I did, but you know, get rid of things in your life that just aren't serving you any purpose. Could you temporarily get a temp job or a second job during this time? Again, maybe, maybe not. Look at your budget, look at things to cut. One of the classes that I do is called cutting the cord, getting rid of cable and satellite. And people might go, why does a credit union teach a class on that? Because cable's a really expensive bill for a lot of people. I personally was paying over $200 at one point, and now I pay less than $100. So, hey, you know. And connect with your people, your local community groups, your church groups, your friends, your family. Let them know you're struggling. I have seen some of the most heartwarming things lately about people helping perfect strangers. Including something I saw on Facebook, one of the Barrington town pages about a group of people that are getting together and with no questions asked, making homemade lasagnas for families that need food. And they'll deliver it, and it's no cost, and they don't need to know. They don't need to know what the situation is. Again, they're just trying to do their duty. And what was so amazing to me is when this woman posted this on Facebook, she was immediately flooded with, I can help drive, I can help cook. Do you need a donation for supplies, ingredients? Can we bring this into other towns? It was really heartwarming for me to see it. And again, these are perfect strangers, folks. So reach out to those. If you need help, reach out. People are absolutely always willing to help. And before I get going on this next slide, I would like to just launch a couple of polls. I want to see with my audience here, and I want you to see as well with the audience here how things are going. So Emily, would you be able to launch poll number 1 for me? All right, so feel free, folks, to go ahead and answer this. I want to hear from you. How much has the COVID-19 pandemic affected your finances? And hopefully for many of you, it's, you know, the first couple, you know, hopefully not at all, or I'm okay for now, but we certainly know for some people, it's caused some problems or even that final line of help. I'm just going to give everyone a moment or so to answer that. Awesome. And Emily, do we have any responses to our poll question? All right, so here's what's going on, folks. So I'm really glad to hear this. For the large majority of you, pandemic hasn't affected your finances all that much. 64% of you, not at all, thankfully. But here's the 36%. I'm okay for now, but worried about the future. Yeah, I get that. I think we all need to be, right? I mean, we just don't know what's going to happen or what can happen. One of the major reasons that we do webinars like this and do coaching opportunities like we do. And this is another wonderful, fun one. Emily, could you launch poll number 2 for me, please? All right, so what's one thing, folks, you've noticed you've spent more money on during the pandemic. And we all remember the toilet paper, paper towel shortages from a few months ago. I'm still annoyed about that. You know, oh my gosh, Amazon. Anybody else spent way too much money on Amazon and Etsy lately? Hi, party of one over here. I need some assistance. And then takeout. I don't know, Kim, you back me up on this. When this pandemic first started, Kim and I seemed to take it on as a mission to help all the restaurants in the area not close. So we were,
we're like,
Kim, we really did. We were going crazy.
Business. Yeah. So
we did it.
Let's go here. Let's go there. Yeah.
We ate some great food. We gained some great weight that we're now still working on. But again, we were all doing it. Emily, do we have any good responses for this one here? Awesome. Yeah. All right. Amazon and other online shopping. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too. I hear you. So perfect. So places that we've spent more money on, again, we just did a little survey on this, but restaurants were huge takeout was huge as far as the places we're spending more money on. Amazon, computer equipment. So many of us all of a sudden were working from home, or our kids all of a sudden had to do school from home. I have so many friends and family and clients that were like, we had to go out and buy everyone a new laptop, computers, a printer. You didn't have any of this stuff. You didn't need it. Masks, Clorox wipes, protective gear. I mean, I'm doubling up the masks with my Etsy problem because, and you guys can all see this. I have decided if I'm going to wear these things, I'm going to make them pretty and support my personality and all this lovely stuff. And so again, we've all been spending money on these types of things. Home improvement projects. Huge. People are like, I'm at home, we're gonna actually like build the deck. And the lumber is still sitting out there, it's half done, for some of us, and some of us have been more productive. But here's some places we've all saved some money, maybe not now, but before, when this pandemic was first going on. We weren't able to go out to eat at restaurants, and a lot of extracurricular activities for ourselves and our families were canceled. Gas. I had a 50-minute commute. Now I have an 8-minute commute. Hey, so yeah, I save money on gas. Travel, this one hits me. I'm a travel girl. What can I say? Kim and I are like watching our vacation account balances just grow and grow, and then we're using that as a positive. But come on, we weren't able to go anywhere. There were so many banks, credit unions, organizations, mortgage companies that were doing some great things. They might have had reductions on fees. They might have said, if you bounce a check, we're not going to charge you a fee this month. Skip a pay options for loans. Folks saying, we'll tack it on to the end, or, what have you, but you don't have to make your monthly payment this month for your car or for your mortgage. Car insurances were giving credits. I got it from Geico. I'm like, thank you. I keep getting alerts from Verizon that they've increased all of my data and stuff, because again, knowing that more people now than ever are working from home or doing school from home. And internet data as well. Again, I keep getting that, that alert, and I keep seeing that all over social media, people having issues with the internet. And again, rental and mortgage temporary relief. Many landlords and mortgage companies and such were not charging you late payments or starting the foreclosure process or the kickout process. Again, they were giving you some time. And many of my clients have found themselves in a hole from some of these things. They were able to, because they needed to, or wanted to, take advantage of not having to make their mortgage payment, or not having to make their car payment, or not balancing their checkbook because they weren't getting any fees. And a lot of those things are now coming due. All of a sudden, they'll get a bill for 3 months of their mortgage. Oops. Yeah. So areas to assess. So these are the things to be thinking about. So you can start figuring out, where you're at and where you need to go. What are you behind on, if anything? Your rent, your electricity, your internet. Again, you are going to have to pay it. So it's best that you start working on a plan to pay that. And if anyone has some back bills that they're just not sure, again, how to make this work, we might be able to help you with a loan and or a budgeting plan to get that paid off. So please reach out to us. Is your job stable? What about a second wave of the virus? We're already hearing it in Europe. Do I have money in savings? And again, savings is huge, folks, because if we can't be working, bills are still going to come. We still need to eat. We still need to do these things. So having money in savings, an emergency fund, beyond huge. Are you still on track, on timeline for goals that you might have had, retirement goals, house buying goals, moving out goals? Has this deterred you in any way? What do you need to do to get yourself back on track? Major or minor home or car repairs that you know about. Same thing with debts or monthly bills. Are they manageable on one income? Again, things that you might have put off. Getting your septic pumps, things like that. And again, something that I really took a strong look at during this, and my job has been completely stable, thank goodness, thank you, New Hampshire Federal Credit Union. But, again, you have to think about these things. Do I need every penny of my paycheck in order to survive? No, Megan, you don't. Do a little bit better job with that. Stop eating so much takeout with Kim. You'll both survive, I promise, We all put stuff behind. I can't tell you how many people in my life have told me they're driving around with expired licenses because they didn't want to have to call and wait in a huge line out front. I get it, but now you can start getting these things back up. Oil changes. Mental note, got to make my appointment. Again, septic pumps, HVAC, health or dental tests, procedures. I went to my doctor the other day and I was behind on all the annual tests that I normally get. And she had said, yeah, she goes, I know. She goes, everyone's behind because we couldn't, you only get emergency patients in for so long. Totally get it. But, at the same time, those things are still really important. They need to be done. Eye doctors and dentist appointments. I'm still trying to figure out my dentist appointment. I finally got into the third eye doctor that I tried for my progressive lenses, so I can now see, thank goodness. I was blind during half the pandemic. It wasn't very fun. Make a plan to pay off your debts. If you've accumulated debts during the pandemic, if they were there already, if you have them in general, make a plan. And again, Kim and Deb and myself, the credit union, can help you with that. But regardless, whether you use our help or whether you do it on your own, make a plan. If you don't have a plan, it won't happen. It just won't. And saving money as well. Definitely, if that's something you said, we need to start saving money, honey. Okay, good, you do. Absolutely. We can help you there too, but start doing it. Again, come up with a plan. So reassessing that budget. What has changed since the pandemic started? What's changed in recent weeks, folks? Kids are back to school, some remotely, some not remotely, some hybrid, many hybrids. Childcare for many people has changed. They either now need it or they don't. Gas, either way, remote learning. It's changed everything about how, I don't have kids. It was one of the times in my life, I'm like, thank goodness, I'm so not a teacher. No, I have to go to work, Will you be going back into work in the office versus working from home now or in the upcoming months? Think about the money that you've saved during this pandemic, not even just gas. This is a huge one. We drive to work every morning, folks. We go by Dunkin's or Starbucks. We might need to grab a coffee or a breakfast sandwich. It's part of our routine. Or it's lunchtime. And, maybe you brought your lunch from home, but maybe Kim found a really fun takeout menu someplace new, right? And we're like, heck yes, we're going for it. But while we're all stuck at home, we're not doing as many of these things. You might go out every other day or something to go get a coffee, but you have to leave the house, and that's just, kind of annoying maybe. It's not part of your routine as much. Again, same with, meeting coworkers, for drinks after work or, doing lunch dates or dinner dates or whatever. Again, when we're at home, these things haven't been as much of an issue for us. Same thing, there were so many hobbies. The gyms were closed, exercise classes. My manager did a steam room type thing so she could do her hot Pilates in her house. And I was like, you go, girl, because that is awesome. But, again, we now can get back to some of these activities. and they're money and they're costly. And we need the protein shakes that we now have to buy the powder again because we need the energy to be able to go work out at the class at 5 in the morning. So we have to be at work, and God, I'm exhausted just thinking about it. And now that our restaurants are opening up, we have a tendency, do you have a tendency to spend money going out to eat, both during the week and after work? Hi, how you doing? Party of one over here. And I had so many. Kim, how many clients do you think we have that don't spend too much money on eating out besides the grocery store? How many clients do you think we have that fit in that mold?
Not many.
One? I can't think of any at the moment. Maybe one. Somebody with severe allergies, maybe, or something like that. We all do it.
Yeah, and I know
Jenny.
that was one of the big issues I had with my husband when we first started, because when we first started dating, we were both living at home with the folks, and so anytime we wanted to just be us, we'd go out to eat. And so we got into that habit really early on in our relationship, where that's what we would do. And when we started on our budgeting, we realized that after we wrote down, like the previous months, what we've been spending our money on, and we looked at what restaurants was, it was absolutely disgusting. And that's how it is for most people.
Yeah. When you sit down, whether it's with us or by yourself, and figure out how much money you spend on food, do a bunch of deep breaths beforehand, maybe some meditating, and remember, we love you, love yourself. Because every single one of us is like this. And you're right, Kim, we fall into patterns. And also, too, we're busy, especially now. We're busier than ever before trying to juggle all this stuff. I was working with some clients the other day that are on a home buying path, and they were like, we're eating pizza 3 nights a week because my husband's picking it up on the way home because he's working 11-hour days, and I'm trying to balance the kids and the work, and we get it. But again, it's really an area that if you're looking to trim your budget, one of the first places to look at. And I did want to briefly show you, we have quite a few different budgets that we can send out to you because everyone's different, and I did want to show you a couple of the ones that we do have. And again, if you would like us to send you some of these, please go ahead and in that Q&A, please go ahead and say, yes, please send me budgets. And put your name and your email out there, and Kim is monitoring our questions and everything here. So, but hopefully you guys can see my screen. I'm getting something saying it's paused, so I'm not sure if you can see the budgets that I am sharing here. But we have a few different budgets that we have. Some are smaller than the others. Some are more intricate. Some it's every dollar, and some it's just major categories. There's no right or wrong answer, folks. There really isn't. Again, it's all just what is going to make sense for you, what's going to help you, and what's going to make your eyes not go boo when you're looking at it. So, Kim, do we have any questions at all before I continue to go forward here?
No questions as of yet.
Perfect. Keep them coming, guys, if you have them. Like I said, we're here.
And we love questions.
We love questions. And people are always like, don't they trip you up? And Kim and I are like, bring it on. We love them, love them. We want people to leave with what they came for, 100%. So COVID-19 debt facts. 10 million new Americans, folks, have wrapped up credit card debt due to the pandemic. Ugh. Americans are reporting that for the first time, they've had to use credit cards to buy food or pay monthly bills. That stinks. That's and again, a situation people weren't in before. As of the end of May, over 36 million have filed for unemployment. If you were one of those folks and you had to wait in line on the phone or online, I hope you're all right. I'm sure you're still recovering because everyone I know is still has PTSD over it. So, but 9 out of 10 Americans, folks, report that the virus has caused them financial stress. And 26 of those surveyed said the top thing on their mind with the virus wasn't health, wasn't anything like that. It was money. Oh no, what could happen? What's happening? Yeah, I get it. I mean, it was one of my top stressors for sure. Things to be thinking about. Again, do your debts look any different now than they did a few months ago? Do you have larger credit card balances because you've had to use them? Did you have to use financing for any home repairs? something that maybe you would have used cash for before or had the money for, but then you didn't, but you still had to fix your heating system. Are you behind on anything? Rent, electricity. Again, just get it all down, folks. The good, the bad, the ugly. Get it down. Get it organized. We're here to help, I promise. Yeah, Kimmy, what do we got?
We got a question.
Nice.
So what is the best way for me to save money when I feel like the pandemic has left me living paycheck to paycheck? I feel like I'm never going to catch up in my with my credit cards, even though I still have my job. Where do I begin?
Yeesh. Yeah, so the person that just answered that, thank you for being vulnerable and asking that question. And Kim, how many times do we get that question lately? Constant. Yeah, that's a real struggle. And when you're paycheck to paycheck and you have debt, again, you're like, oh, how do I balance this and saving money on top of it? There are things that we absolutely can recommend to try and help. And the first thing that I always recommend, if you haven't done this already, again, is get a good budget going for yourself. Really think about, is there anything that you are paying on a monthly basis that you could do without? Even if it's temporary, potentially. Maybe it's something that you're like, you know what? I'm going to get rid of cable and the television. I'm just going to do Netflix for $12 a month. I'm going to do that for 6 months. Not forever, just something to help for the time being. Really look at things you can cut. And again, one of the things that we do at New Hampshire Federal Credit Union, and one of the things, truthfully, as a lifelong banker, I am the most proud of, is the fact that we can help people get loans that sometimes other places will not. We do not use your credit score to determine whether we should give you a loan or not. It's one of a multitude of factors we look at. And we also do not give you an interest rate based on your credit score. So a lot of times what happens with credit cards, you have your store cards, you have your Capital Ones, you have your Chase, 20, 25, 30% interest, folks. It's really hard to get those balances down. If you have a car loan and your car loan interest rate is 18%, it's really challenging to get those balances down. So the person that asked that question, and for anyone else that on the line going, yeah, that's me, I would love it if you would reach out to us. We'd love to help you, see what we can do to help in all areas. And again, one of the things we'll do with budgeting is, again, look at areas like food, outside eating, cable, cell phone plans, insurance plans. We'll give you thoughts we have on maybe saving yourself some money. If it's $20 you're saving, if it's an extra $30 you're saving, you know what? We can help you make that so it goes right towards that debt or right to saving. Kim, what do we have here? I love the questions, kids.
Yeah, so the same attendee actually wrote that they heard that if they combine their credit cards, it will make it look like they have bad credit. Is that true?
Nope, that's not true. In fact, actually, doing a debt consolidation and combining your credit cards can actually, I've seen it help people more than it has hurt them. And here's one of the reasons why. So say you have 4 credit cards, and just for argument's sake, say all 4 credit cards have a limit of $1,000 and your balance is $900 on all 4 of those cards. That's actually hurting your credit score. They're saying, oh, yeah, that balance is way too close to those limits. However, if you were then to, say, do a debt consolidation loan and take those balances off of those credit cards, now it's, oh, this wonderful individual has 4 credit cards with $1,000 limits and 0 balances. That's lovely. They're really good at balancing their budget, really good at balancing their debt. That could potentially and will raise your credit score. I had someone just last year that we did this through, and their credit score went up over 100 points in about 6 months just by tweaking. So again, is it a perfect fit for everyone? No. Is it a good fit for a lot of people? Yes. And again, every situation's different. We'd love a crack at it. Please reach out to us. Absolutely. And again, in going with your debts, things looking different, were you able to pay off some things with your stimulus checks, or the fact that you were making more in unemployment than you were? That's real for some people as well. And I mentioned this in the beginning, many people know that you can refinance your mortgage, but most don't know that you can refinance other debts as well. And we've been talking about this during this broadcast. But here's some things that you can refinance or consolidate. And again, we'd love to talk to you about all of it. mortgages, equity loans, cars, boats, motorcycles, okay, fine, anything with wheels, credit cards, huge one, personal loans, potentially student loans, those can be a different animal, but definitely, you know, something you could look into. Here's some things that we do that many places might not. We will look and see if maybe we could do a loan for you for collection accounts or private debts or things you're behind on. We'll absolutely take a look at that. Kim, we got another question.
We have a couple. So
Yes.
here you
Good
go.
job, everybody.
I know, right? So banks and especially credit unions often won't even let someone open a checking account with poor credit. Are all these services available without opening an account? Do you offer an account with other financial services?
Great questions. So you are accurate in the sense that banks and credit unions sometimes have limitations about what types of accounts you can open. Maybe if you have poor credit, if you owe other banks money. We don't do any of that. Nope. You can have a savings and a checking with us if you want. And if you have a perfect credit score or the lowest credit score on the planet, that is not a factor for us at all. You do have to open an account with us in order to be able to do a loan. And that is something that all credit unions do, because as a credit union, you're actually an owner of our company. You're a member. We don't call you a member just because it's cute, although it is cute. We call you the member versus a customer because when you open an account with us, you open what's called a share, which is actually a savings account. You put the minimum balance into it, and now you are a part owner with all of our other customers, all of our other members of this credit union. Credit unions are nonprofit, so we don't have shareholders and people that we have to use. We have to raise our fees, and we have to, charge extra penalties because, these folks at Christmas want to have a good, a good paycheck. These phantom, shareholders and stuff. Credit unions don't have that. We don't have that. So the better we do, the better our members do, because we're able to give them better interest rates or less fees. So if any of you out there have not been able to get a bank account because of your credit or because you owe banks or a credit union money, again, that is not something that we take a look at. So please reach out to us. Yes, Kim, we have another one?
Yeah, two more.
Great.
So I have a little extra money saved, and I thought I'd put it in a CD or maybe money market or another place. Do you have any classes to help me understand what's happening and where the best place to invest would be? I am a little leery of the stock market.
Yeah, I get you on the stock market, and especially timing is huge for that question and in general. Timing is huge when it comes to things. If you have money, but you're pretty sure you're going to need it in the next year, or if it's money that you're like, I don't know, save for a rainy day, I don't know when I'm ever going to need it, those conversations are different. Do we have a class that talks about that? No. Are Kim and I going to develop one because that's a brilliant idea? Yes. However, we can talk to you about that one-on-one, either ourselves and or the member service team here. I have a very strong background in all things banking. I was a branch manager for over, a long time, 15 years. And Kim has a wonderful banking background as well. So we're happy to work with you one-on-one. We'll ask you some questions to find out what your goals are for that money, where things are in your life, and then help you to make a great decision. I'm a big fan of CDs, huge fan of CDs when they work appropriately. And again, maybe you're fit there, maybe you don't, but we'd love to work with you one-on-one to figure that out. Kimmy, anything else? Yeah.
Yes, the last question for right now. I feel embarrassed about my personal finances. I don't want to feel judged or like I've made mistakes. No one taught me how to budget when I was younger. Can I bring my kids to join the webinars?
Yep, please do. So guys, you and everyone else, this was not taught in schools. I did not learn this in high school. I did not learn this in college. I have a bachelor's degree. I went to high school in one of the top public schools in Massachusetts, and nothing about budgeting, nothing about saving money, credit. I didn't even know what credit was. Thankfully, I took a job as a banker, and that's how I learned all of this stuff. Absolutely. And I encourage people, I applaud people that bring their children in and help them learn these skills, because again, we were not taught any of this. You're not alone.
Yeah, and we have some really good classes for young adults that are starting out. So that's helpful as well.
Huge. Thank you, Kim. We have a couple of ones that are geared towards high school, college, young 20s even, but good things for folks to be thinking about. We have several. We have our financial basics classes, which talks about budgeting, saving money, and the importance of credit. And we keep it basic, you know. We also have graduating to life on your own, one of Kim's and I's favorites to do. And we talk about things like stuff to think about when you want to buy a car, your first car, rent your first apartment, what kind of insurances you need. Oh my gosh, taxes come out of my paycheck? What? Like, yeah, I mean, I didn't know that when I first started working. And then we also have one that just talks about buying your first car and renting your first apartment, kind of the fun things about growing up. So check out our website, www.nhfcu.org, and go right up top to that Center for Finance and Education tab. And again, you'll be able to see all the classes we have out there. And some ways, folks, that you can look to refinance or consolidate some of that non-mortgage debt. Again, maybe doing a mortgage refinance or an equity loan and rolling some of this debt in. And there's pros and cons to everything, and our lending team and ourselves will talk you through all those pros and cons. But those are certainly ways that it can be done. A debt consolidation loan, a personal loan, they're great. They're a fixed payment over a short period of time, 3, 4, 5 years, and you're done, as opposed to a 30-year mortgage or, you know, something you'll be paying a credit card for forever. Balance transfers to another credit card. You might be able to get 0% or a lower interest rate. And absolutely, you know, those can be definitely useful. Make sure you read the fine print there, folks, because there's always a catch. And it's not that it's a bad catch, but they're always there. And keep this in mind as well. With any of these methods, you're not getting rid of the debt, you're just transferring it from one place to another. And the great question we had a few minutes ago about how consolidating does that ruin your credit? No, again, it can help it because of the tweaking and the different methods that you can do. But again, you're not getting rid of the debt, still there. The virus has forced millions of Americans to take a look at their spending habits, and the result has been a surge in saving money. Go America! The personal savings rate has jumped up from 6.2% last April to 33% this spring. And Americans saved $6.15 trillion in the month of April. So good job to those out there that have been increasing their savings. Again, we wish it wasn't for reasons like this. But here's some savings advice that I have for one and all. And you'll get a lot of tips like this in our coaching as well as in all of our classes. Any amount you can save is better than nothing, trust me. If you have saved enough to buy one new tire and you need 2, and you only have to put 1 tire on a credit card, you're in a way better situation than you would have been putting on 2. Pay yourself first, along with paying your rent, your mortgage, your car, your credit cards. Treat yourself like one of your bills. Your money is so important. You're the one earning it, right? Make it work for you. Have a direct deposit of $5, $10, whatever. Automatically go right from the company you work for, right from your payroll, right into a separate savings account. Don't rely on yourself to move it over, because you may or may not. If you have it automatically done, you're soon going to forget that you made an extra $20 at one point. It's just going to keep growing in that savings account. Have a separate checking account just for bills. This is life-changing for so many of my clients, because even if the rest of their money, they haven't quite worked out yet how much they should spend on food versus not, at least they have an account knowing that all the money they need to pay all their bills that month, that account is funded. It's funded perfectly, has enough money in it, all the bills are getting paid. For many of my clients, this is beyond a huge sigh of relief. So again, if this is stuff that you want to work on with us, believe me, we're here. And sub-accounts can be great for multiple savings goals. For example, emergency funds, car registration, vacations, all these things that are going to come up in a year that you're going to have to pay for. Yes, Kev?
So we don't have a question, but we do have a comment from one of our attendees. So she mentioned that COVID actually helped her reduce her spending because she had to reassess her budget. And her spending has reduced greatly in the past 6 months. So congratulations.
huge congratulations to that. And again, you know, we're seeing that. We're seeing that with some of our clients. Absolutely. Good job, everybody. And again, if you are in that situation, keep it up. Keep looking at what you're doing. Keep assessing. Keep reassessing at all times. And how to make extra money in a COVID world. Be creative. I'm not creative at all, but many people are. Sew masks or other supplies. I'm just not. Take a look at that budget. Consider temporary delivery work or look into online tutoring. I saw online the other day, actually, this woman who's a retired high school teacher said that she has enough room in her basement for social distance 3 to 5 kids, and she's more than happy if parents have to work, they can do their remote learning there, and she'll act as a guide and a tutor. Look into this stuff if you have skills. People were like fawning over her trying to get into her basement program. You know, helping people get fit from home, and huge, guys, sell stuff you don't need. People, not these people on the webinar because you know better, but people will buy anything, trust me. A snowball from the time that we had the most snow in New England, yeah, people will buy it. A potato chip shaped like Barack Obama, yes, people will buy it. And before I conclude today, I just did want to mention 401ks and stuff as well. And again, our CEO, John R. Young, does some amazing classes on investments, 401ks. Certainly check that out on our website or get in touch with us and we'll get you the links for all of those. But we found that many people are not touching their 401k. They're not changing their contribution. 61% have kept it the same as before. And I think that's amazing because, again, we know that at times right now, the market's not, it's what it is. But again, a lot of us have time to recoup. And a lot of us are doing what I like to call buying things on sale right now. If a certain stock was worth $20 before and now it's worth $10, you can buy 2 for the price of 1. Who doesn't love a good sale? I do, you know. And remember as well, folks, you know, if you haven't lost any money yet. It's all on paper. Until you cash out, you haven't lost anything. And if you have a financial advisor or an accountant, if you are really close to retirement age, and this is a huge concern for you, 1,000,000% get it. Reach out to those financial advisors or accountants. You can certainly reach out to us as well. We're not financial advisors, but we'll certainly more than help to guide you with some resources and some things to look at and some education. So this is the final slide of my presentation, and we're going to get to the real fun thing next, which is, Kim, are you ready to go? We have a raffle, and all right, so Kim's got, I'm not leaving you guys, but Kim's got the spinny thing here, but so we have Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover, and we have the workbook that goes along with it. We are doing the Dave Ramsey Total Money Makeover class coming up. But again, this is awesome stuff, guys, no matter where you are in the process of this. So Kim, spin that wheel.
All right. We're going to come up close.
All right.
All right, and our winner is Kelly.
Kelly, congratulations, and we will be getting your email address from the chamber. We will be then getting you, we'll reach out to you. We'll get your mailing address, and we will get these in the mail to you or arrange for you to come pick them up at one of our locations, but whatever's easiest for you. Congratulations to you and to everyone. And folks, again, you know, if you need us, and I am just going to go back to my beginning slide here. If you need us, again, we are here. Please reach out to us. The center's phone number is 224-7731, extension 330, or you can email us as well at centerfe@nhfcu.org. So I'm going to turn this over to Emily for a final wrap-up. And again, thank you to all of you for attending. Thanks, Emily, in the Concord Chamber, and thank you to New Hampshire Federal Credit Union as well. Emily, there you go. There you are.
Yeah, I never left. I've been here. Well,
I know. I saw you, but now we get to see your face. So.
Well, thank you both so much. I learned a lot during this presentation. I'm just going to put a slide on screen real quick, but wanted to let you know we've recorded this session and we'll be sending it via email to everyone who registered, along with a link to New Hampshire Federal Credit Union's website where you can find this information to contact them and ask more questions or learn about these classes, you know, get more information, because this was just a taste. So before we wrap up, I just want to let you know about some chamber events that are going on. We're going to be starting a 4-part webinar series with Riverbend Community Mental Health. The first one is on Tuesday, October 6th, and the title is Demystifying Common Conditions. The topics are on 4 completely different subjects. If you attend all 4, you get this really well-rounded look at mental health, especially in our community. But you can also sign up for one. All of our webinars are complimentary, so feel free to join. We're recording them, so if you can't attend live, you can watch them later. If you are a new chamber member or a new employee at a chamber business and not really sure what benefits you receive from the chamber, or if you're thinking about becoming a chamber member, we are holding a virtual member briefing. So it's a Zoom meeting where it's really personal, interactive. You'll get to chat with each other and kind of get a look at all of the work that we do in the community. And then if you love networking and you miss our business after hours events, we're holding business during hours, virtual networking events. These have been super popular. We've had up to 100 people attend them. We put people in small groups where they can chat with each other online, and it's really fun. So if you haven't tried it, I'd encourage you to come on Tuesday, October 13th. You can find all of the information for these events at concordnhchamber.com. So thank you again, Megan and Kimberly and everyone at the New Hampshire Federal Credit Union for today's presentation. Thank you all for joining us today.
Thanks again, everyone. Take care. Be safe.